This might be the craziest gossip story you've ever heard. In the late 70s, this person started sending letters to people in the town of Circleville, revealing their most intimate secrets and spreading rumors. This wasn't your typical high-tech cyberbullying. This was old-school gossiping with an added twist of false imprisonment and a lot of drama. It all started in 1976, when the letters began appearing in the mailboxes of unsuspecting townspeople. They contained information about their personal lives. The letters were postmarked in Columbus, Ohio, and the first recipient was Mary Gillispie, a local bus driver who was accused of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massie. Mary denied the affair, but the letter writer claimed to be watching her house and her children and demanded that she end the affair. Later, Mary's husband Ron also received a threatening letter. One letter even threatened to harm Ron if he didn't tell the school board about the affair. Mary suspected that a fellow bus driver, David Longberry, was behind the letters. She had rejected him romantically before, and he still held a grudge against her. Mary and Ron enlisted the help of Ron's sister and her husband to catch the letter writer. They even wrote a letter of their own to David, pretending to know his identity and threatening to turn him in to the police. But things took a dark turn when Ron received a mysterious call and became enraged. To this day, no one knows who it was from or what they told Ron. He angrily went to confront whoever the caller was or the letter writer if they were indeed the same person. It was the last time people saw him alive. His family soon found out that he'd gotten into a car accident, and it appeared it had been his fault. Ron's friends and family disputed this claim, as this type of behavior just didn't sound like him. After Ron's demise, other people in the town received letters accusing the local sheriff of being involved in a cover-up related to Ron's tragic ending. He was soon let off the hook after successfully passing a polygraph test. In 1983, the letters became even more vicious, accusing Gordon Massie of inappropriate behavior towards Mary and her family once again. Mary almost lost her life too when she stopped her bus to tear down one of the inflammatory signs that had been placed along her route. The sign had traps placed there to harm whoever tried to remove it, and the police discovered that the culprit behind the traps was a man named Paul Freshour, Mary's brother-in-law. Paul claimed he had nothing to do with the trap, but was nevertheless taken into custody and asked to provide a handwriting sample. During his trial, a handwriting expert testified that Paul was indeed the writer of the Circleville letters. Paul was found guilty and spent 10 years locked away, but the letters kept coming, even while he was in solitary confinement and had no access to the mail. Paul was released in 1994 and has maintained his innocence to this day. The identity of the Circleville letter remains a mystery. This next tale of cryptic messages had an added fascinating layer: hidden treasure. In the rolling green hills of Bedford Country, southwestern Virginia, supposedly lies a secret worth over $60 million. Legend has it that a guy named Thomas J. Beale hid the trove, and it's been lost for over 2 centuries. The treasure is said to be gold, silver, and jewels, and the only clue to its location is a 3-page coded message known as the Beale ciphers. This story has captivated people and treasure hunters since 1885, when a pamphlet called The Beale Papers was published. The story goes that in the 1820s, Beale checked into the Washington Hotel in Lynchburg, Virginia, and gave the owner, Robert Morris, a locked iron box with some papers that he said were crucial. 3 of the papers were written in code, and Beale promised that he would leave the key to deciphering the code with a friend in St. Louis. If Beale never came back, his friend would mail the envelope to Lynchburg in 1832. Well, Beale vanished, and the envelope never arrived. Morris waited until 1845 to crack the box open, and inside he found 3 sets of papers with numbers printed on them, along with a letter from Beale. The letter told the story of how 30 young and wealthy men set out from Virginia to seek adventure in the West in 1817. They discovered gold and spent the next 2 years digging it up along with some silver. The group decided to send half of the treasure back to Virginia with Beale, who hid it near Buford's Tavern, not far from Roanoke. He later left the other half in the same location. Since then, many have tried to decode the mysterious Beale ciphers. Robert Morris spent hours trying to decipher them, and when he passed away in 1863, an anonymous person took up the challenge. It took 23 years, but the person ultimately figured out the key to the second cipher, the Declaration of Independence. The cipher revealed that the treasure was hidden about 4 miles from Buford's Tavern and included over 2,900 pounds of gold, 5,100 pounds of silver, and $1.5 million in precious gems. But the other 2 ciphers remained a mystery. No one has ever figured them out, even though they supposedly detail the adventurers' names, their heirs, and the exact location of the treasure. Who knows, maybe one day someone will crack the code and find the treasure. This next story is connected to a manuscript that has been puzzling researchers for over 100 years. It's called the Voynich manuscript, and it was acquired in 1912 by a Polish rare book dealer with the same name. This manuscript is full of looping, handwritten text written in an elaborate script and accompanied by lavish illustrations. It's so mysterious that it has challenged researchers in many fields, including linguistics, botany, and machine learning. Voynich himself surely didn't become rich by finding this manuscript. It didn't help him uncover some hidden treasure or understand the mystery of the world. But it certainly made him famous. Nowadays, the manuscript can be found at the Beinecke Library at Yale University. Initially, the Voynich manuscript mainly attracted humanities scholars like philosophers, historians, and writers. But it soon started to draw the attention of codebreakers like William and Elizabeth Friedman, 2 founding figures in modern cipher breaking. Even the National Security Agency was interested in the manuscript. They used it to illustrate cutting-edge computational analysis techniques. Recent Voynich research has heavily relied on computer analysis with far more sophisticated tools. Although there have been many proposed solutions, none of them have been successful in deciphering the manuscript. Botanist Arthur Tucker, for instance, claimed that the plants seen on the pages of the book were native to the 16th century Americas. Other scientists believe that the text was likely written in some sort of language and not just randomly made-up words. One theory popped up in recent years, claiming that the manuscript is not written in some crazy language from another planet. It's just written in a local dialect of the Mediterranean region, popular during the medieval times. What makes the manuscript so tricky to decipher is that it doesn't have any punctuation marks, and the alphabet is a mix of familiar and unfamiliar symbols. Plus, all the letters are in lowercase. Despite the challenges, the scientists that proposed this theory believe the manuscript was actually written by and for women, and it contains all sorts of interesting information on herbal remedies, therapeutic bathing, and even mystical readings.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.